Hello, all Supernatural fans. We're going to talk today about Venator. Venator is owned by Brad and Mary Camp up in the Washington, Seattle area. This car has sat for so long waiting to get paint on it, and finally the weather broke. We had a short window because it has been raining like crazy here again. I think last night, 2 to 3 inches, somewhere right in there just last night. But the car was painted before everything kind of went back to wet and humid and stuff. Venator looks really, really good. We are getting ready to put on, let me come over here. I've got the trim over here on the ground. It's getting ready to get all put on. All the window rubbers, they call these the sweeps, they're in. Everything is just getting all put on. And what's going to happen after this car gets all put together, it runs. I talked to Brad, and somebody had at one point done exhaust on this car, and they did do exhaust. They just kind of ran it probably in the stock location. And so what we're going to do is, it doesn't have the flow masters on it, but me and Brad are kind of under the same assumption. It's kind of new. Why would you want to go tearing that off and, just replacing it with the flow masters and stuff? So Brad's going to keep the exhaust system on this car, except for we're going to run out the new tailpipes out the back end. So it'll come out down here and back here. So, and then somewhere down the line, the car will get the flow masters and everything put in. Once this car gets put together, we are going to take it down to the upholster shop. It will get the new headliner, everything. Now, obviously, you can tell the windshield's out. The dash and everything has been done on this car. And so we're going to put all new sound deadener down on the floors, the updated stuff, not that stock crap. And then up here into the roof and new headliner and everything will be put on. The windshield, let me come over here. I believe it's over here. Brad's windshield is original. And these things, after time, you're going to see how it's starting to do that. We talked to Brad, and he just said, you know what, let's put a new one in, which I advise. You don't have to do it, but I would. It's already out. And so we're going to put a new windshield in. I got to talk to Brad if he wants to order it, wants me to order it, blah, blah, blah. But we're going to get a new windshield put in. The rear glass, I'm trying to think if the guys have got I think they do have the glass installed in the doors. Maybe not. I'm trying to see down there. But here's the back glass. So it will be coming in. I'm trying to think what else. This thing is looking really, really good. Brad's going to come down here on October 25th, I think Brad said. And so this car will be here in just a few weeks, will be just really coming together. And Brad will be able to actually sit behind the wheel of his baby. And it's not the same car as when it arrived at this shop. If you guys go back and look at the previous videos, you will understand. This car had so much fiberglass, and it was just rotted out back here in the back glass. This all had to be replaced. Now the guys are getting goo and stuff ready to put the windshield in, but this is a different car than when it came in. The engine and stuff, I'm not sure if Brad built it or had somebody built it, or if this is the way the engine came inside the car, but what all we did, we just painted the block, put some new valve covers on, new headers, a new distributor, and left it pretty much everything the same. We painted up the transmission stuff. We did not pull anything apart. What we did do is put on new belts, new hoses, as you can see right there, and then a new radiator. I always recommend, if you go back and listen to my videos and stuff, I always recommend getting a new radiator. You do not want to run an original radiator that has been in your car for 50 years. trust me, it will come back to bite you in the ass. Brad did the suspension on this car. So he had rebuilt the A-arm, so it does not have the tubular A-arms, but he's the one that did that, and I think we put in the disc brakes. So he built the suspension on this, and we did the disc brakes. And then also, it does have, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it has the big old sway bar up front, which makes this car handle so much better. So anybody out there running a stock sway bar, trust me, you want to get to the bigger one, the 1 1/8 in diameter sway bar. It'll just handle so much better. I'm trying to think what else. I got to put the package tray in, but we'll do that when we do right before we do the back windshield and stuff like that. That'll all be put in. And I'm trying to think, is there's anything else? Venator, like I said, is looking really good. The weapons box, obviously we just got stuff sitting back here in the trunk. The weapons box is leaned up. If you guys can see clear over there by that door, there's a hood leaning up against it. That's Venator's weapons box. And it'll go in and I'll finish out the top and this thing will be done. And Brad will get it all arranged to get it picked up. So really, as I know, as the time is drawing near, then Brad's going to get a hold of the shipping company. So basically, it'll just be done and pretty much out the door. It might sit in here for just a little bit, but it will be done and out the door. So I just wanted to give everybody an update. I'm sure Brad has been, I sent him pictures, obviously, when it came out, when it went in, before it went in the paint booth and when Don got it all painted and stuff. But the paint job is looking really good on this car. Obviously, it still needs to be wet sanded, but the guys have put in all the new rubbers. See right there, all new rubbers are in this, and on the door, it's just the way to go. So with that being said, once the windows get put in and everything, then it'll start getting wet sanded. Anytime you paint a car, right now, I mean, you guys are probably, I mean, this car is dirty and you can see my reflection right in there. But there's still imperfections in the paint. You just cannot get a brand new paint job without a little bit of dirt, maybe a little bit of orange peel or whatever. It's just, I think it's pretty much next to impossible. There might be somebody argue with me on that, and I've talked to other painters and they just said no, you know. Unless, I don't know, maybe you got some kind of multi-million-dollar paint booth or something. But even from the factory, I don't know if you guys have ever go out and look at your brand new cars. Paint jobs on cars still have imperfections in them, brand new cars. They're minor, but they're there. And most of the times when we're pulling out, we don't have a paint booth like GM or Ford or Dodge. Not saying, and then plus those cars are painted by robots, and I think there's a little bit of a electrolysis to it where the paint kind of sticks and then they get baked on, and so they have a little bit more of an updated system than what we do. I wish we could afford something like that, but that'd probably be like tens of millions of dollars for that, and obviously we just can't afford that. But the cars that come rolling out of the paint booth, they look really good coming out, and then once Don spends times wet sanding and polishing and stuff, they look really good. Better than what's going to be on the set. I've told people that a million times. Here is a hood. Right now it's been wet sanded, so it's got that haziness to it. You cannot see the reflection in it. Just wet sanded. And then Brad and Mary's deck lid right here, this has been wet sanded and then it's starting to get polished. And so, hey, there's, the reflection in it and stuff. So it's a time consuming deal. Wet sanding, I would probably, if I had to go on market or record, I would say Don would probably say the worst part of doing this is all the wet sanding. He just gets wet. I mean, he's drenched from the time, sitting there with a hose all day and sandpaper, and I wouldn't want to do it. I'm just letting you know. It's a very time-consuming and tedious job. So, and you got to be careful because you don't want to scratch the paint. So you got to keep that paper nice and wet. and clean. So anyway, that's what's going on with Venator. We still got bumpers and stuff. I think these are Brad and Mary's bumpers sitting over here. There's their glass and there's some more trim. Things are just, like I said, it's coming together on the car. And I just wanted to kind of let everybody know because this car has been here for quite a while, but there was major surgery on this car. Not as much surgery as Miss Cassie's Cajun Queen right there, but a lot. So I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. I'm getting ready. I'm going to do a whole shop video so everybody kind of knows what's going on. So this car will be briefly mentioned again in the shop video. And until the next video, guys, I'll just talk to you later. Bye.